Earlier this year, Benjamin Clementine told The Observer about the difficult process of submitting his second album to his record label. Things became so fraught, he said, that he threatened to return from whence he came, the Paris metro, where he was discovered as a homeless busker. I said to them, listen, if you want me to do what you want, then I'll go back to just playing and sleeping rough. Indeed, should the faint-hearted listener require a moment of respite during I Tell a Fly's more harrowing passages, a certain light relief can be had simply by imagining his label's reaction when the 28-year-old singer-songwriter revealed that the follow-up to his 2015 Mercury Prize-winning debut, at least for now, was a concept album about two flies in love set against a backdrop of geopolitical strife, most notably the ongoing refugee crisis and ensuing political fallout. It's easy to picture the disconsolate expression on the faces of anyone who thought Clementine had a chance of snaring the lucrative Radio 2 market. If only he could be convinced to rein in some of his outre musical leanings, maybe abandon the theatrical penchant for putting on different accents as he sings, lose the Rococo classical influences and make the songs a touch more linear and straightforward. Opening track Farewell Sonata begins with a doomy, etch-a-drenched a cappella chorus that shifts from speaker to speaker, is replaced by a piano instrumental influenced by late 19th century Impressionist music, which in turn gives way to discordant synthesizer, a burst of fragmented rock decorated with highly mannered vocals, glitching noise, then more Ravelesque piano to fade. It's a piece of music that seems to say best of luck getting this on the Ken Bruce show, mate. I Tell a Fly delights in making its listener feel as disorientated and confused as the characters that inhabit its songs, occupants of the Calais jungle, bullied children, residents of Aleppo, migrants struggling off the coast of Sicily. Lovely tunes are briefly dangled in front of you, then snatched away. Wildly contrasting pieces of music crash into each other without warning. Lyrics compact with naughty, repetitious word games. Songs are disrupted by horrible sounds, vocals rendered incomprehensible with electronic effects, or Clementine's shrieking falsetto. He adopts a series of accents from exaggerated RP to stagey mockney. Needless to say, if you're the kind of listener who rolls their eyes when Kate Bush starts pretending to be Australian or doing impersonations of Elvis, then abandon all hope. The album of your worst nightmares is here. There is straightforwardly beautiful music, although straightforward is relative. Only one track, Jupiter, really bothers with verses and choruses. The melodies of Quintessence and Better Sorry Than a Safe are lovely, but they meander away from anything approaching a standard structure. On another album they might count as the most avant-garde moments, but here they're surrounded by stuff like Paris Core Blimey, which sounds like it may have been improvised on the spot, or Phantom of Aleppoville, 6 extremely testing minutes that feel less like a song than a collection of unconnected musical fragments, gathered together and given a title. What any of the songs have to do with a love story between two flies, meanwhile, remains something of a mystery. The ghost of David Bowie sometimes seems to haunt Clementine's vocal intonation, and the way one awkward fish's melody floats over the hyperactive rhythm pattern feels a little Blackster-esque. Elsewhere it vaguely recalls the kind of theatrical, florid, episodic musical epics that some glamour bands were fond of. Cockney Rebel Sebastian, sung by Roxy Music, Queen's The March of the Black Queen. Mostly, however, it just sounds like a particularly uncompromising statement by a unique artist. Indeed, at the risk of sounding like one of those record company executives who caused him to threaten to go back to busking, you do wonder if I Tell a Fly might not be a shade too uncompromising for its own good. Clementine clearly has things to say about some important topics, and it's hard not to think they might reach a wider audience if they were a little less obliquely presented. Equally, there's something laudable about an artist using their initial success not as a foundation for steady commercial growth, but as leverage to get something like I Tell a Fly released and promoted by a major label. Either way, you rather suspect that Benjamin Clementine is going to continue doggedly down his own path, regardless of how many people follow him.